Edtech and Wordshark go back a long way. We're probably we probably won't discuss how far back, but we certainly go back a long way together. Ruth this morning is going to talk about their new product, Wordshark Online, and I suppose the big benefit I see for Wordshark Online is that it's available 24/7, and equally it's available on all devices. Okay, and I'll leave it over to Ruth now, and we'll chat to you again at about 25 past 9. Okay.
So let us just do a little bit of an introduction. And Liam, shout if you cannot see a slideshow starting.
Now we have your slideshow. Right? Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so welcome to the online version of Wordshark. Some of you may be familiar with the desktop one. The online version has a lot of differences, and I'm going to show you those differences this morning. So I think you all realise that it's a reading and spelling programme. The tests and the results are judged on the spelling, but the games equally address the reading, just to get that clear. And I think everybody knows that it's a games-based programme, but it's games with a meaning. Wide age range, you'll see the look of it is different. So the fact that it has photos and new graphics, I think you'll agree, and more muted colours, it extends its sort of age range. And as Liam said, because it's online, you're going to be able to use it with a variety of devices at home, at school, do your planning at home. In lockdowns, heaven forbid, you've got that program running. Now, the big question for all teachers, I don't think I've ever met a teacher that wasn't short of time. So yes, it is easy to use without fuss, and we'll have a look very much at that side of it. But if you are dealing with special needs, which I know that Liam deals with all the time, we will look at the greater depth as well. We'll explore that. So if you can imagine, we've got the three modes of running, and this is different to desktop. So super sharp progression, that is using the Wordshark course, and I will send Liam the summary of that course so that you can see that progression. And what happens when you add your students, they take a test called the Sharp Challenge, and it puts them into somewhere along the line with that course, a sequential course. And it will move them on when they get one set right. It says, well done, have a reward game, and then on you go. And they move through. But your job is to keep an eye on how that's going. And if you need to, you can actually intervene and move them to another point. So it's not cast in stone. Now, in addition to that, there is set work, okay? Not in place of it, because that one doesn't turn off at all. And the set work, you can actually set any of the lists, and there are many of them from the published courses, or you can strike out on your own and create your own list with your own voices if you want, or if they're recorded, then you can use the recordings, but you can create your own lists and set those as work. So that is another string to your bow, like your desktop version. There is a third mode which you would only reserve for people you can trust, because it's a way of letting them into any list they choose in the course that you allow them for. So that's called free play. But I think it's these first two that you will be dealing with mainly. And the other thing is that I always tell people that we have a very secure way of logging in, and each school or establishment has its own URL. You don't go to a general place to log in. You have to either bookmark the one you're given, or you have to create a shortcut. So that's always worthwhile to know. So I'm now going to go into the program itself, and here we have a signing on screen, and I'm going to sign on as the administrator to the system, and it will have extra things in it. And as I talk, I start to make errors, so I better concentrate. And I'm going to hit go. Hang on. Let's just do. That's a good start, isn't it? Let's do another one, sign on as a teacher instead. I'm signing on as a teacher, okay? And before I put in the password, there's a little bit in grey down here, create shortcut. And you can, if you're using your own computer, you can just drag that onto your desktop. I think in school, you probably have to be a bit more careful. I don't think they allow you to, you know, the technician would have to sort that for you. Actually, some schools put it on their website, the login. That's another way of doing it. And I've got to put in my password. And again, it's always luck of the draw whether I've typed it right. And we hit go, and we should be into the dashboard of the teacher. There we go. I'm logging in as teacher because we need all these buttons here. Groups and users. I'm not going to spend a long time on this. We are in fact in as the teacher now. If you log into the teacher, you will be able to see your groups. You'll be able to see the students that you've been given. If you're the administrator of the system, you will have an extra button which says manage teachers, and so you can add teachers up there. Also, you'll have a upload button down here to add your teachers. And when you do, you can add one or more teachers and their students, and then they get a welcome email, the teacher, and then it's up to the teacher, like this one, to decide whether that group is what they want. They can add any more groups, and the teachers can add more groups, and they can add more students, and they can change the groups in their the students in their groups, and they can share groups. So it is fairly fluid within the system. So down here you have a choice. It says student logins, and you have a choice, and you can either print out labels, or you can add, look at an individual student's login, and it will go onto the clipboard, and you can send it home by email. So that's always useful if you're not seeing the student, or they've forgotten it, or the parent wants it. But let's just very quickly have a look at the labels layout, and it would look like that. And I'm just going to open up the PDF, and I'll zoom in, and you can see that you have the all-important website that you either bookmark or add your own link to it. The username, which has the student's name embedded in it, so it's not a greater jumble of letters, it's meaningful, and then their passcode. Okay, so that's how you get your students onto the system. They may need a little bit of help at the beginning. Very quickly, let's have a look at the games and lists. So if you took a trial, you would have a month to look at this, and I suggest that you explore the games and lists. And there are three things on this screen as teacher that I can see. I am in the Wordshark course at the moment, but I can change it. I can search for a list if I want. I'm told that I'm in Unit 18, and there are 44 units within the Wordshark course. So if I scroll, whoops. If I scroll down, you can see, and I'll send a summary, Liam, so you can send those out to your teachers. And then within that, each unit has several lists. This one hasn't got that many, but let's just go back to my favorite one because it has nice pictures, and when I'm demonstrating, it's easier to do one that I can do easily. So we've gone back to that one, and do you see that hasn't got that many lists within it, but those are the ones in Unit 18. Now, the all-important thing when you're teaching is to get your students used to opening up their play words. So I'm going to click here, and I can listen to them.
Want.
And I can look at the pictures.
Swan.
This is why I choose this one, because I like the pictures.
Wasp.
And
wash.
And I can also get my students to flick over the phonics tab, and you can slider, and you can see straight away which words have got a phoneme represented by one letter or in this case, a phoneme that's represented by more than one letter. So you've got that visual readout of what's working with what to make a sound. And of course, you can listen to it.
Wash.
Also, I don't know that many students would do this, but teachers love it. You can show where the vowels are. And that's always the troublemakers in the words. So you can listen to that as well. In order just keeps them in that same order in the game. If you were creating a list and there's a reason to build up a pattern, that might be useful. Split words, nothing happens because these aren't split, but if they were, you'd see where the splits are. And I always say when I'm demonstrating it, a little tip, if you do create a list of your own, you can come back to your find your list, through the changing course route, find your list, click on split words, right? And then it will allow you to put splits in any way you like in those words. So that's a useful little tip to know. So you don't have to be bound by syllable splits. You can do the splits any way you like. The last but not least, there are teaching notes to help you if you want to have that bit of extra information. When the student looks at those words, I always say very, 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 very important that they are the detective and they ask themselves why those words have been put together in one list, because they don't link in any meaningful way apart from a spelling way. Unless, of course, you've added a list of vocabulary words, and then it would have a meaning link. But, they've got to work out whether it's an auditory link or a visual link, a letter pattern, an ending, a rule. And if they don't understand, ask. So let's close that up. And here we have all the games tabs. So blending and segmenting games are going to be your phonics games. Reading and spelling are going to be your whole word games. For this list, there's one pattern game. Some lists there are more. There's a sentence game that reads out the sentence and you have to add the right word in the gap. So it's a closed procedure for meaning. And there's an alphabet game, which is also doubling up as a dictionary game, but I won't go into that because we haven't got time. So very quickly, I'm going to go to the spelling tab, and I notice that 3 of the games have got the word check in them, and that means they are spelling tests. And every so often in the set work that you set and in the SuperShark progression, they are given a spelling test, and that enables you to see how things are going. That's what the results will be based on. So if I click on moving spell check, I can listen to how to play it. I can click on that play now, and the fish should fill up quickly if you have a good internet connection. And that's always a big if, isn't it? If it's slow, then look to your internet. The idea here is to click on one of these.
Swap.
And type it in. And I'm going to type it in correctly. But if I hadn't typed it in correctly, because it's a test, it will wait till the end of the game to show me what I wrote and what I should write for dictionary spelling. Other times you will actually be told, straight away what to look out for. Options. In this game, you have tiles that will come up if you click OK for those, in addition to the QWERTY keyboard. In the dictionary game, the alphabet game, there are lots of options, and you can even turn it into a dictionary game with the game's options, and that is under the student's control. So it's always nice to explore these things. And obviously you have students who you really don't want that going on, but equally well, you may well want that going on. Okay, so that again is under their control, and you need to flag that up because that's important. At the end of the game, they get a summary, they get coins, and if they want, they can go and spend the coins on stickers, or they can tell you how many coins they've got and you can reward them in your way. But the stickers are coloured fish and other things that go into the ocean picture, and they can move them around and arrange them. So that's a reward system. Also, they get reward games, standalone reward games from time to time that they can play or not play as they see fit. They have to get 85% at least right to move on to the new list if they're working on the automatic course. If they're working on the set work, and we'll click on set work now, if they're working in set work, they have to get 75%. If I want to set new work, I'm going to show you the wizard because it's so fast. So you say set new work, you choose the group always, and you choose your students, and you can actually click on there and get all of them ticked, but you don't have to have all of them. You can take the ones you want for this set work, and then you click on next step. Then you choose your course, and these are the 5 courses. So you have the Wordshark course, which is the sort of the basic one. And there's a national curriculum which might have of England. There may be a few things in there that might be of interest at the end. Alpha to Omega, a lot of you will know. Another sequential course in addition to the Wordshark course. In fact, those two are very similar in their approach. And then there's an everyday vocabulary one. If you happen to have somebody come in who doesn't have English as their first language, that's really nice because you just dip into the subject, and then at day 1 they can do that. And then high frequency words is self-explanatory. And I should add that those very high frequency words are embedded in all 3 of these first courses. So we're being asked which list we would like to set. So let's choose something a little bit trickier. Let's choose that unit. You go to next step, and then it says these are all the lists in that unit. Do you want to set them all like so, or do you want to just select 2 or 3 of them? Let's do those 2. Next step. That's just a summary of what I've done, who I've set it for, what I've set. And then I add the deadline like that. When I want it done, I'm going to say I want those 2 lists done in a week's time, please. So I click on week and I submit it and I give it a name. And I just give it the day of the week, but you would actually put something sensible, and I save it. And there it is, that's the one we've just set. Now, when I want to look at the results, they're built all the time. So I click on the icon, the colored icon, and I can see who I've set it for. I can see, what's going on. I can see any errors that they've made. And then I can drill down a bit more into one individual, and I can see the 2 lists. So you've got the separate results for the 2 lists, and I can save it. And again, I can see the errors that have been made, if they have made any, and I can save it. So that's your set work. So very, very easy to do. I'm going to show you how to create an own list because, again, this is easier than it was in the desktop version. So I'm going to say create new list. It doesn't take long. Give it a name. And anybody who's watched me before will know that my favorite is fruit because I don't have to think about it. I'm not bothering with any of this, but I'm going to just flag up that you could have chosen a definition list, okay? Click on OK. So all I did was put in the title, clicked OK, and here we go. We put in the list. So I touch there on the touch screen or click on with a mouse, and I'm going to put in my fruit. And everybody says banana when I say what, well, most people for some reason choose banana. So I've typed it in and I'm going to press enter. If I typed it wrong, there's a way out of getting it right. Let's put in orange. Let's put in apple. And I'll just put one more in for now. And I'm going to put in pineapple because I know that you'll see that pineapple doesn't have a recording, doesn't have an image, okay? Whereas if I clicked on apple, it does. I can listen to the recording.
Apple.
And I can see the picture. I could record my own sound if I want, so that's there. And I could browse for another picture of an apple. And I can correct the spelling if I've done it wrong there. Pineapple doesn't have a recording. So I'm going, oh, I should have said that you can listen to the recording.
Apple.
Right. Here, we don't have that facility. We've got to record our own. So I click on here, Apple. Then I click again to finish it, listen to it over here, Apple. And I save it if I like that recording. If I don't like the recording, I can do it again and again and again. And I can obviously record it in my students' voices, which is worth a lot. I'm not going to go into find a picture of a pineapple, take too long, but you would have them ready and waiting. And then all you have to do is save the list. It says that I haven't got all the images attached, but I know that with 4 recordings is your minimum that the games will come up. 10 is your maximum, all right? And there's my fruity list. There it is, the one we've just done. And I can set that very quickly as work, just like we saw just now. And I'll just show you well, I'll do it the whole thing because it takes a second. Set new work, choose my group, choose my students. Do you remember this? Choose my list. So it's my list. That's the bit I wanted to show you. My lists. Fruit. There it is. Next step. Summary, date. So all done. The only other thing that is very important, going back to set work again, this is your way, hang on, let's just come out of there. Let's just go back and we will click on set work. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to say that you can hide things here. That's useful as well. It clears your screen a bit and you can see what you've set there. I didn't mention that. Okay, right. Under set work tab, change level. All right. This is where you have your own control over where they are in that automatic course. So you click on that, you choose your student, you go to next step down here, and then you would scroll down to see whether they have actually been working in it. If they haven't, that current line won't be there. And if you choose where you want them to go, they wouldn't take the test, but you'd have to do that before they signed on. So if I wanted to leave out a great chunk for somebody, I can literally place them wherever I like. You know, I could put them down there if I wanted and then submit. Or I could move them an earlier one and I'd submit. So, you know, that is how you would do that. So you tell them what you've done in, you know, politeness so that they don't wonder what's going on. And then they carry on from that point. And you can do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 50 times. I hope you wouldn't need to, but you can do it as much as you like and when you like, okay? Very quickly, I can see that time is ticking on. It's getting faster and faster. Student progress is where you look for your group reports of how SuperShark is doing, okay? So you would choose your group again and you would choose your student. If you wanted a group report, you would click all students and then you would choose your duration and you would probably be wanting it for 7 days, 30 days, okay? I'm just going to run it for 12 because these are pretend results. And if it was for a whole year, you would actually see lots and lots of these green things filled up because each one of these little sections is actually a completed unit within the time. You can also see where they test placed them, right, and when the date they did that, and you can see any resets where you've moved them from one unit to another. So this person's moved from unit 15 to carry on at unit 24, and yellow means that they haven't completed it. Green is good news. And remember that that you also remember that is judging on spellings. Now, if you wanted, you can look at an individual. And so you just set all this lot up and then just change the name, right? Free play would also be here. So you've got all your results. So these build overnight, remember that. And I could see every game. If I wanted to see the SuperShark results, I could actually see every game, but these other ones will be spelling results. So if I wanted to look at unit, I'd run my report and I can save it in a little file, or I can look it on screen, and I can actually open up and see a bit more the different lists there. And errors is your important port of call. You click on that and you can see what errors they've made and what they should have been writing. And if the last time they made an error in those words, forgot the capital A, then you will be able to save that to clipboard and then plan accordingly because you've got that readout. The only thing I haven't shown you in the program is to create free play. So you go back to your groups and users, you open that up and you can just flick that across, okay? And that will give them open access to all the lists unless you restrict it. So we're going to make this a little bit more obvious, but you can edit that and say, actually, I don't want you to have open play to all of those things. Just leave it on 1 or 2 and save it, okay? Liam, I'm now going to go back to where we were when we started and just show you what the student sees. And this is their dashboard. It's more colourful, and then they can click on their play games button here or their tab up here to get to the games. They've got their set work, the 2 pieces of set work, and you can always say look at your purple tab if they're in the play games screen. They can spend their coins there and they can see progress there. And once a week, at the moment this isn't available, but it should be again shortly, they can actually see the words that they have got right. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they could do all those? This is a test one. And they can see whether it's their record as well, and how long, and whether it's their record or not. And also what they've been up to with SuperShark, if they're using SuperShark.
If hopefully that has inspired you and given you a taste of how useful Wordshark can be online. And if it is something that you're interested in, we can certainly set up a trial for you. And what I'm going to do is just give you some pricing for the moment. So at the minimum license is a 30 user license. For an annual license for 30 users, it's 598 including VAT. 50 is 664. 100 students is 750, and 250 students is 954. The good news is the nice people in Wordshark have extended a discount to us, and up until the 16th of March, there will be a discount of 10% on those prices. So if you are interested in the program, it's definitely worth your while to get in before then. So as I said in the thing, if you're at the Patrick's Day parade and you say, oh, I must subscribe to Wordshark, it's too late. So you need to get there before Patrick's Day. Just to finish out, I want to just thank Ruth for her really good presentation and the overview of Wordshark Online. And just to mention the upcoming webinars we have. So the next one, we will have John Crick, who is the developer of Clicker. And John will be with us on the 1st of March at 3:30. So we're trying the afternoon session for that one. The follow-up then will be L'Explorer, which is a very innovative testing platform using eye tracking. And finally, the final one that we have scheduled is one on just our STEM resources. So we have a coding platform called CodeMonkey and a Lego compatible robotics kit called Tinkerbots. Okay, more or less time to wrap up. Thank you very much for your attendance, and hopefully you found it useful, and look forward to seeing you again. Thanks a million. Bye-bye.